Title: Must Try This Once. The experiment that can change your entire life. There is one experiment that costs nothing, requires no special talent, and can be done by anyone regardless of age, education, or circumstances. Yet very few people ever try it sincerely. They spend years trying to change the outside while ignoring the one place where every change truly begins. If you are willing to try this just once, not with doubt, not as entertainment, but with complete sincerity, you may discover something that has been hidden in plain sight your entire life. For just one day, stop allowing your present circumstances to define who you are. Instead, decide that your inner experience will become more important than the evidence before your eyes. Tonight, before you fall asleep, choose one desire. It doesn't matter whether it is wealth, health, success, love, or peace. Do not think about how it will happen. Do not wonder when it will happen. Forget every obstacle that reason presents. Instead, close your eyes and enter a simple scene that could only happen if your desire had already become reality. Hear someone congratulate you. Feel the handshake. See the smile on your face. Experience the relief, experience the gratitude, experience the certainty. Do not watch yourself from the outside. Become the person inside the experience. Look through your own eyes. Let the scene feel natural, familiar, and complete. Remain there until the feeling becomes more convincing than the facts surrounding you. Then fall asleep. The next morning, refuse to undo what you created during the night. Walk through your day carrying the invisible conviction that something has already changed. Do not search for proof every few minutes. Do not test reality. Do not ask, where is it? Instead, ask yourself, how would I think if it were already mine? Then think from that place. How would I speak? How would I react? How would I feel? How would I expect people to treat me? Remain faithful to that invisible identity. Most people never experience transformation because they perform this exercise for 5 minutes and spend the remaining 23 hours returning to fear, doubt, and old assumptions. The inner seed cannot grow if you dig it up every hour to see whether it has roots. The experiment is not imagination alone. The experiment is remaining loyal to what you imagined. There is enormous creative power in consistency. Your subconscious does not respond to occasional inspiration. It responds to what you repeatedly accept as true. When the same feeling is impressed again and again, it gradually becomes your natural state. And once it becomes natural within, life begins arranging itself to reflect it without. You may wonder whether this really works. There is only one honest answer. Do not believe anyone. Test it. That is why this is called an experiment. Not because someone else promises results, but because you become your own evidence. Choose something small if your faith feels weak. Imagine receiving an unexpected compliment. Imagine hearing good news. Imagine receiving a message you've been hoping for. Imagine finding exactly what you need at the perfect moment. Then release it. Continue your day without anxiety. Allow life to surprise you. Small successes build confidence. Confidence builds expectation. Expectation strengthens belief. Belief changes identity. And identity quietly changes the entire direction of your life. Notice something remarkable about your own experience. Every fear you've ever had began inside before it appeared outside. Every worry existed in imagination before it became emotion. Every success you celebrated was first anticipated internally before it arrived physically. You have already been using this creative ability your entire life. The only difference is that most people use it unconsciously. They imagine failure, they rehearse disappointment, they expect rejection, they prepare for loss. Then they wonder why life continues to confirm those expectations. What if you reversed the process? What if every time fear appeared, you gently replaced it with the fulfilled version? Instead of imagining the interview going badly, imagine shaking hands after being hired. Instead of imagining rejection, imagine hearing words of appreciation. Instead of imagining financial struggle, imagine checking your account with gratitude. Instead of imagining loneliness, imagine sharing joyful moments with someone who loves you. This simple shift is not pretending. It is choosing which possibility deserves your attention. Attention is creative. Whatever occupies your inner world most consistently eventually influences how you perceive opportunities, make decisions, respond to challenges, and interpret events. Over time, these shifts can produce very real changes in your life. Wikipedia 1. For just 7 days, refuse to tell the old story. Stop introducing yourself through your problems. Stop repeating what has not worked. Stop identifying with yesterday. Speak inwardly as the version of yourself who has already crossed the bridge. Feel gratitude before evidence appears. Smile before circumstances justify it. Relax before answers arrive. Trust before proof exists. This is difficult only because the mind has practiced the opposite for years, but every new habit feels unfamiliar before it becomes natural. There will be moments when reality seems unchanged. Do not panic. The oak tree spends months developing roots before anyone sees a single branch. The deepest changes often begin invisibly. Remain loyal to your inner decision. There is tremendous strength in quiet persistence. The world constantly invites you back into old thinking. Every headline, every conversation, every memory, every disappointment. Each one asks the same question. Will you return to the person you used to be? Your answer determines your future. If you continue choosing the new version of yourself, not occasionally but consistently, you begin living from a completely different level of awareness. The old reactions disappear. New opportunities seem to appear naturally. Different people enter your life. Unexpected ideas arrive. Doors begin opening where walls once stood. You may call them coincidences. Others may call them luck. But you will know something deeper happened. It began the moment you accepted a new inner reality before the outer world agreed. So I invite you to perform this experiment, not for 30 days, not for a year, just once, one sincere night, one sincere assumption, one complete acceptance that your desire is already fulfilled within. Carry that feeling into tomorrow, protect it from doubt, feed it with gratitude, return to it whenever fear appears. Then quietly watch your life, not with impatience, but with expectation. Because the greatest transformations rarely announce themselves with noise. There is a moment that comes into every person's life when they become tired of waiting for circumstances to improve. They have tried changing jobs, changing relationships, changing routines, changing environments, yet something keeps repeating itself. Different faces appear, different places are visited. Different opportunities arise, but the same fears, the same disappointments, and the same limitations continue to follow them. Eventually, they begin asking a different question. Instead of asking, "How do I change my life?" they begin asking, "What if the real change begins somewhere I have never seriously looked?" That question marks the beginning of a completely different journey. Most people have been taught that reality creates thought. They wake up, look at their bank account, and then decide whether they feel abundant or poor. They look at their relationships and then decide whether they feel loved or lonely. They examine their health before deciding whether they feel strong or weak. In other words, they allow the visible world to become the author of their inner experience. But there is another possibility, one that very few people are willing to test with complete sincerity. What if your inner world is not a reaction to life, but the quiet cause behind the life you continue experiencing? This is not something you accept because another person says so. It becomes meaningful only when you test it for yourself. That is why this must be tried at least once, with complete commitment. Not for 5 distracted minutes, not while secretly expecting failure, but as a genuine experiment in consciousness. Choose one desire that truly matters to you. Do not choose 10. Do not scatter your attention in every direction. A focused mind carries far greater creative power than a divided one. Perhaps you desire financial freedom. Perhaps you long for a loving relationship. Perhaps you wish to receive wonderful news, experience excellent health, or discover your life's purpose. Whatever your desire may be, accept it as worthy. Stop apologizing for wanting a better life. The desire itself may be inviting you toward a new version of yourself. Now remove one habit that has quietly stolen your peace for years. Stop asking how it will happen. The question of how has delayed countless dreams. The logical mind believes it must first understand every step before movement can begin. Yet every meaningful achievement in life began before all the details were visible. Every inventor, every artist, every entrepreneur, every explorer moved towards something they could not completely explain. They trusted what they could not yet prove. Your responsibility is not to build every bridge between where you are and where you wish to be. Your responsibility is to occupy the destination inwardly. Tonight, before sleep, allow yourself to become still. Turn away from the noise of the day. Forget every unfinished conversation, every bill, every disappointment, every prediction that tells you why your desire cannot happen. None of those voices belong in this sacred moment. Close your eyes and create one simple experience that would naturally happen if your wish had already become reality. Make it short enough that it can repeat easily. Imagine a friend smiling as they congratulate you. Hear them saying exactly what you long to hear. Feel yourself responding with sincere gratitude. Notice how natural your voice sounds. Sense the relief flowing through your body. Feel your shoulders relaxing. Feel your breathing becoming calm. Let happiness become effortless. Do not force emotion. Genuine feeling grows naturally when you stop trying to impress yourself. Simplicity carries extraordinary power. Remain inside that experience. Do not watch yourself like a movie. Become the person living it. Look through your own eyes. Touch what you would touch. Hear what you would hear. Experience the moment until it feels familiar rather than exciting. Familiarity is the secret. Anything that feels distant remains distant. Anything that begins feeling natural starts becoming part of your identity. Identity is where lasting transformation begins. People spend years trying to change behavior without changing identity. They try to act confident while secretly believing they are unworthy. They attempt abundance while identifying with lack. They seek love while convincing themselves they are difficult to love. The conflict between identity and action eventually becomes exhausting. Instead of asking yourself, well, what should I do? Begin asking, who would I be if this desire were already fulfilled? Would you walk differently? Would you smile more often? Would you speak with greater calm? Would you stop comparing yourself to others? Would you stop rushing? Would you become more generous? Would you feel less threatened by another person's success? These changes happen naturally when identity changes first. The following morning, protect this new identity as carefully as you would protect a small flame from a powerful wind. The world will immediately invite you back into familiar thinking. You may encounter delays, criticism, unexpected expenses, or discouraging conversations. None of these determine your future unless you allow them to determine your inner state. Every moment becomes a choice. Will you return to yesterday's identity, or will you remain faithful to the person you accepted the night before? This faithfulness is where most people stop. They imagine once, then spend the rest of the day canceling their own work through worry. They plant the seed and immediately begin digging it up to check whether it has grown. Imagine planting a beautiful tree and every hour removing it from the soil to inspect the roots. Growth becomes impossible. The same principle applies within. The unseen often develops long before anything appears outwardly. Nature itself teaches this lesson repeatedly. Seeds disappear beneath the ground before becoming forests. Dawn begins while darkness still covers the sky. A sculptor sees the finished masterpiece inside an untouched block of stone long before anyone else recognizes it. Every meaningful creation experiences an invisible stage before becoming visible. Your life follows the same pattern. Do not underestimate quiet persistence. If fear appears, do not fight it angrily. Simply replace it. Every fearful image can be exchanged for a fulfilled one. Every anxious conversation can become a peaceful conversation. Every imagined failure can become imagined success. You are not denying present circumstances. You are choosing which inner experience deserves your loyalty. The mind becomes whatever it repeatedly contemplates. If you spend hours rehearsing disappointment, disappointment begins feeling normal. If you repeatedly rehearse success, peace, love, gratitude, and fulfillment, those states gradually become familiar. Once they become familiar, they begin influencing your decisions without conscious effort. You notice opportunities that once escaped your attention. You speak with confidence instead of hesitation. You recognize possibilities instead of obstacles. You respond with patience instead of panic. These subtle internal shifts produce remarkably different external experiences over time. People often call this luck because they witness only the visible results. They do not see the countless quiet moments when you refuse to surrender your inner conviction. They do not see the evenings when you return to your fulfilled vision despite contradictory appearances. They do not see the mornings when gratitude replaced anxiety before any evidence existed. But you know where the transformation truly began. It began the moment you decided that your imagination deserved greater authority than your fears. It began when you stopped asking permission from the outside world before allowing yourself to feel successful. It began when you understood that peace is not the reward for receiving your desire, but the atmosphere from which your desire grows. That is why this experiment is worth trying even once with complete sincerity. One genuine assumption held faithfully can accomplish more than years of desperate striving because it changes the one thing from which every lasting change begins, the person you believe yourself to be. As we come to the end of this message, I want to leave you with one simple invitation. Do not let these words become another inspiring idea that fades away tomorrow. Do not place them beside the countless books you have read, the videos you have watched, or the advice you have collected over the years. Knowledge alone has never transformed a life. A single truth, sincerely practiced, is far more powerful than 1,000 truths merely admired. You have spent enough time wondering if change is possible. You have spent enough time waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions, or the perfect version of yourself. There will always be another reason to postpone the life you desire if you continue looking outside yourself for permission. What if tonight became the night everything quietly changed? Not because the world suddenly became different, not because every problem disappeared, not because someone else rescued you, but because you finally made one decision that no circumstance could take away. The decision to become inwardly loyal to the life you truly want. Remember this. Every magnificent achievement first existed where no one else could see it. Every invention was once an invisible idea. Every masterpiece was once an unseen vision. Every great relationship began as an unseen possibility. Every successful business, every beautiful home, every healed heart, every fulfilled dream first lived silently within someone's imagination before the world called it reality. Why should your dream be any different? Do not underestimate the quiet moments you spend alone with your thoughts. Those moments are not empty, they are creative. Every assumption you accept becomes a seed. Every feeling you repeatedly entertain becomes a blueprint. Every inner conversation becomes a direction your life slowly begins to follow. So become careful about what you repeatedly tell yourself. Stop introducing yourself through your disappointments. Stop reminding yourself of everything that has gone wrong. Stop measuring tomorrow by yesterday. Your past is only a memory. Your future is being shaped by what you consistently accept today. The person you choose to be in consciousness will eventually become the person the world meets. When doubt whispers that nothing is changing, answer it with patience. When fear insists that your dream is impossible, answer it with calm confidence. When circumstances appear unchanged, refuse to abandon your inner decision. The greatest transformations often happen in complete silence. Just because your eyes cannot yet see movement does not mean life is standing still. A seed never argues with the darkness beneath the soil. It simply continues becoming what it was created to be. Be like that seed. Trust the unseen process. Remain faithful to the feeling you have chosen. Let your confidence become stronger than your circumstances. Let your gratitude become deeper than your questions. Let your peace become greater than your fears. You do not need to force life. You do not need to chase every opportunity in desperation. You do not need to convince the world that your dream is possible. You only need to remain convinced within yourself. The outer world has always been slow to recognize what the inner world has already accepted. That delay is not failure. It is preparation. Every day you remain faithful to your new identity, you are strengthening the foundation upon which your future stands. You may not notice dramatic changes overnight, but never mistake invisible progress for the absence of progress. Mountains are formed one layer at a time. Oceans are filled one drop at a time. Great destinies are built one faithful assumption at a time. So I challenge you to perform this experiment, not halfway, not casually, but wholeheartedly. Just once, for the next few days, refuse to let appearances dictate your inner world. Wake up as the person you wish to become. Walk as that person. Speak as that person. Think as that person. Give thanks as that person. Go to sleep each night as that person. Not pretending, not forcing, simply accepting that the version of you who already possesses your desire is the real you. Then allow life to catch up. One day, perhaps sooner than you expect, something will happen that logic alone cannot explain. A door will open that seemed permanently closed. A conversation will change everything. An opportunity will arrive from an unexpected direction. A solution will appear where there once seemed to be none. What once felt impossible will begin to feel inevitable. In that moment, you will realize the greatest miracle was never the event itself. The greatest miracle was the transformation that happened within you before anything changed around you. You became peaceful before receiving peace. You became grateful before receiving abundance. You became confident before achieving success. You became fulfilled before holding the evidence in your hands. And because you changed first, life eventually reflected that change back to you. So leave this moment with hope, but more importantly, leave with commitment. Do not wait for another speech. Do not wait for another sign. Do not wait until you feel ready. Begin tonight. Close your eyes. Enter the life you desire. Feel it until it becomes natural. Carry it with you tomorrow. Protect it from doubt. Return to it every evening. Persist with quiet confidence, because the life you long for is not waiting somewhere in the distant future. It begins the very moment you dare to accept it within yourself. Perhaps this one simple experiment will become the story you tell years from now, the moment you stopped living as a prisoner of appearances and started living from the limitless power of your own consciousness. And if there is one message I hope remains with you long after these words have faded, it is this. Try it once, not with hesitation, not with fear, not because someone else believes, but because you are finally willing to discover through your own experience what becomes possible when you refuse to let the visible world define the invisible power that has been within you all along.